Hello, everyone. This session is going to be about how we can share the beautiful work that we have done in using our Tableau. We have spent a lot of time in understanding how we can create a view using your Tableau, and any kind of questions that you pose relative to the data that you have it in your hand, and you have done an extensive analysis with the data that was there in your hand, and then you just wanted to none of the work which we have done doesn't make any sense if we have not got an appreciation from others. It's a normal human tendency, right? So in that sense, if we wanted to share the wonderful work that we have done in Tableau is providing us an opportunity to share whatever we have done it. Okay. So this publishing and sharing our work is one more topic that we should know if we are working with a Tableau. So you can publish your work or share your work with other team members or with your friends or with other students. Anybody who wanted to share it, you can share it using either Tableau online or using your Tableau desktop. Anything it is, you can actually share it. Okay. So first of all of you might be having a question like, why do we want to publish the work? Okay. So suppose if you see, the reason why you will be publishing your work is because you wanted to first of all collaborate with others. So you have suppose, like, for an example, you have a team of members and all your team members are working for uh, analyzing a particular organization's data. So the particular organization, say for example Amazon is there. So Amazon is into an um, consumer oriented business, and you are doing a complete analysis with their data. And of course, a single person will not be working on that data. So there are multiple people who are doing an extensive analysis on this data. And whatever work you have done, you should be able to share it with others. Sharing in the sense, like, you just put it in a portable drive and copying and then giving it to others. Those things will not work in these days. And also, when you have a software, you do expect a software. From the software itself, we can do a sharing and collaboration. So that will make our work easier, and also people can people can enjoy doing it. Okay. So in that context, just to collaborating and sharing the work with others is going to save a lot of time in terms of the further work that needs to be carried out, all these things. Second point, if you look into it, we are just thinking about centralizing the data. Okay. So we wanted to again, coming to the same point, it is like, if you have a centralized data management, then for sharing a single source for your Tableau data would become very, very easy. Okay. And also, when you can publish and connect to the data to the server, you can always connect it from the Tableau desktop. You do not have to install and maintain the database drivers on their own computers. So that will become actually very, very easy if we will have a centralized data and database driver management. And then mobility. Mobility is a major concern here, which is because we wanted to access our data from wherever location we are. Okay, either through a mobile browser or web browser, or through a mobile app, anywhere you wanted to access your data. So Tableau is providing all those opportunities as well. So these are some of the reasons why we wanted to publish our work. So once if your work is published, we will be in a position to achieve all of these things. Okay. Now you might be having a question as, okay, you're talking about publishing a work, right? So what are the things that I can publish? Okay, what could be the contents that I can publish it from the Tableau server? Everything you can actually publish it, starting from the data source. Okay. So you can publish the data sources, like, you are getting your data from an external sources like the other like DBMS like SQL or cubes you are using it. From any of these data sources, if you are accessing your data and you are doing a visualization in a Tableau, never mind it. Even if the data is in there in an external source, you don't have to worry about it. You can publish the data sources as well. And then the second thing is, of course, you will be in a position to publish your workbook. So workbook will be a combination of your worksheets. So worksheets, in the sense, it is going to have your views, dashboards, stories, and any kind of data connection if it is there. All such things can be shared and all such things can be published. Okay. And the next question is, who can publish? So if you want to publish to a Tableau server or to a Tableau online, you should have a server first of all, or somebody who is serving, who is maintaining this server. Generally, for an organization, administrator will be there. So they should actually give rights for you to do some things. What are the capabilities as a publisher you need to possess? Means you need to have a, you should be a creator first of all. So creator is something, earlier it was called as a publisher. Okay. So you should have a site role for whatever you're trying to publish it, right? For that, you should have a site role. So most of the time, the site role that you need to possess is that be a creator. Okay. And also he should be in a position to allow you to perform the viewing and then saving the capability, saving capabilities. All these things should be allowed. Then only you will be in a position to publish your things. Okay. So that's about your publishing your things. So the next important thing that you need to know is, if I decided that I am a creator, I have all the rights to publish my work. Now I'm working with my Tableau desktop. From this Tableau desktop or from my Tableau online, I just wanted to publish my work. Can I directly go ahead and publish, or should I have to have any kind of prerequisites that I must be met before I actually perform the publishing of my work? Okay. See, first of all, when you are publishing your work, it is very, very important you take care of this one first. What does that means? How this published work is going to look for others. Okay. So how the persons who is going to access your published works is going to, what kind of things that they can access it, whether they can access only the views, or they can access, along with the view, they can access the data also. Okay. So all of these things you must decide, and then you must set the required permissions, set the required conditions before you will actually go ahead and perform the process of publishing it. Okay. So if you take, typically when you wanted to do a publishing process, you must take care of certain things, or you must take care of certain settings. So the first setting what you need to look in is that, first, what is marked as A over here, right? This is what you call it as an original data. Okay. So the original data is, maybe it is there in your local computer, or it may be there in another database. We do not know. So, but it is somewhere else, and you connected to that original data. And then you have performed some visualization, and now you're in a position to publish it. So, but what you need to understand here is, if in case if you are publishing your work and you wanted your user to access the original data, for that you need to specify whether you have to include the credentials for accessing the data or not. Okay. Or whether you wanted the users to enter the credentials to access it. These kind of settings you must decide before you go ahead and publish any sort of work. Okay. So with respect to underlying data, you must take certain decisions. Second thing is the B, the one which is marked as B. This is what you call it as a Tableau's data source. Okay. So in this Tableau data source only, actually the actions will be happening. So this will contain all of the XML metadata, and also it will have information about how to access the original data. Okay, and any kind of customizations or calculations, everything whatever you made in this Tableau, whether you wanted that, I mean, see, if you see here, the data is embedded in a workbook. Okay, and it is actually having an extract connection and refresh schedule and some calculations like this, it is there. So how you wanted your user to view this, whether this is going to be the same setup, or how do you want to do it? So that decisions also you need to take care in terms of data source. Third one is view. So C is marked as view. Okay, so when you are giving some view to your colleagues, whether you wanted the view to be just a static view, or you wanted your user to edit and interact with your server. Okay, so you can actually select the sheets which will include view, dashboards, and stories, where whatever you wanted to share it. But of course, few things that you need to take care is, in terms of these three components, you need to decide on whether this publishing is going to, I mean, how this publishing is going to be. You need to consider that, and then you have to take a right step about it. Okay, so okay, now I have got an idea about okay, these are some of the steps that I need to follow it, right? So the next thing what you need to do is about the where can I share? Okay, so whenever you wanted to share your workbook with your colleagues, what you can do is you can publish it to a Tableau server or Tableau online. Two things you can do it. If your organization is having its own Tableau server, you will publish it into your Tableau server, and the colleagues will access your published content from the Tableau server. Otherwise, if you are using a Tableau online, you will publish it in your Tableau online, and from there the users will, I mean, the colleagues or any users can view it. Okay, so whenever you are trying to publish something, you need to make sure that the name of the server and how you're going to sign into it, you must know it. Okay, if in case if your organization is using a Tableau online, you can actually click on the quick connect link. Okay, so any kind of publishing guidelines, if your Tableau administrators is having, such as, like, you know, you the name of the project you should publish to, all kind of things should be sticked into. Okay, and then the general guidelines. Okay, so where do I publish it? How do I publish it? Okay, so this is typically will have 3 steps. First is signing in step, and then that's what I mentioned it as, before you start publishing your work, first thing what you need to concentrate on is, of course, getting inside your Tableau server or inside your Tableau online, first thing. Okay, so then you have your workbook which is open in your Tableau desktop. Once you have the workbook open in your Tableau desktop, you will have this type of button. This type of button is not something very, very new for you, only in Tableau. Everywhere in WhatsApp you could have seen, and in any kind of link, if you wanted to click it, you can just see this icon. This is a share button, which you can find it in your toolbar. So if you aren't already signed into your Tableau server or Tableau online, then you will not have this sharing thing at all. Okay, so you need to take care of that. So first is sign in. After you have signed in, you have the option. Next is you can publish the, I mean, you have a publish workbook dialog box will be there coming next to it. In that publish workbook dialog box, you need to select the project which you wanted to publish. Okay, so then you have to name the corresponding workbook according to whether you are creating a new one or publishing over an existing one. Okay, once that is done, after you have selected your workbook and have given the name, then what you're going to get is the data sources. Like this, you will get it. So in your data sources, you will have a down arrow here, right? So you can select it and then you can edit it. For your authentication, you have to always select allow refresh access or embedded passwords. For some data connections, only one authentication option will appear. Okay. So if nothing is happening, it's okay. You can leave it. Okay. So once this authentication process is complete with the data sources, then you will be in a position to publish your work. So typically, how does it look like? Means, so this is the view which you have it. And in the down arrow part, like, if you see here, it is circle, right? You have a share button. Once you click on that share button, it will give you an option to embed code or link it. Okay. So this steps is something which has been got in my, this is something which is being taken from internet only. So they are using this Tableau for their own web university, because I couldn't take it from my own Tableau just because of the reason that I don't have a server access. Okay. So, but anywhere, if you are having a server, and this is the step that you need to adopt it. Now you click on share, you get this option. So either you can just share it with the users, or otherwise you can email it. So because down you have an email link. When you click on the email link, it is automatically going to take you through this place. So where you can look for, emailing the work that you have done it. Okay. So always remember that these are the options that these are the general instructions that might be there if I wanted to publish my work. Sign in is one step, selecting the project is one step, naming the workbook is one step, authentication is the next step. Okay, fine. And then when it comes to publishing options, like, apart from the general workflow, do we have any kind of publishing options in Tableau? Yes, in Tableau desktop, you can actually go and then you can go to your server and then you can select publish workbook. Okay. In case if your publish workbook option is not appearing in the server, okay, so you must make sure that a worksheet or dashboard tab is active. Okay. So if necessary, you just try to sign into the server and then enter sign in, you perform it. Okay. After you have done that, it will ask for adding a tags. Okay. So why it will ask for adding a tags is because tags will help the users find related workbooks. And also next will be the permissions. Once you have the required permissions from the data sources, you can, edit your connections. And finally, you will have a publishing. Okay. So now when I have one opportunity here, what is the opportunity is that I can have a configurable publishing options. Okay. So what is the meaning of a configurable publishing options means? See, you can choose on whether you wanted to show or hide your sheets, and you wanted to show your sheets as a tabs. For all these things, you have options as shown here. So you can actually go ahead and select the corresponding action, whatever is required by you, so that the publishing could happen. And also another type of publishing options which is available to us is you can actually include your external files if it is a for a Tableau server. And for Tableau online, you should have your connectors to include your external files. So that kind of configuration is also available when you try to do a publishing with respect to your Tableau. All of these things are, of course, click kind of things are there. So you just have to click on and then you have to take care of things. And now one more question is that, can I share the workbooks to non-Tableau users? Of course, you can share your workbooks to a non-Tableau users. So when it becomes a non-Tableau users means most of the time the publishing is going to happen in a Tableau server. So when it is happening in a Tableau server allows you to perform some kind of web-based viewing. So when you have a web-based viewing, naturally, even if you do not have a Tableau installed in your desktop through a Tableau online or through a web-based option, you can actually view the contents what others have shared through this from the Tableau server. Okay. Or otherwise, you can also email your work to your colleagues or to your friends, and they can make use of only Tableau reader. Using that, they can open the workbook and then they can have a look at it. Okay. And also, if you will save the workbook in your Tableau public also, you do not have to have any kind of Tableau installed in your system. From the Tableau public is a public version, I mean web-based system, and anybody could log into that and then they can view what are the contents are there. So you can access it through from the Tableau public. And finally, you can publish the work to your Tableau online also. So irrespective of someone is using a Tableau or not, we do not have to worry, because even the people who do not have a Tableau installed can actually view your work and then they can give a comment about your work. Okay. Then another question which you might be having when we are doing a publishing of works is that you might be having an older version. So if I will publish it from my older version, can the person who is having a newer version will be able to view it or not? You do not have to worry about it. See, if you are having a newer version and you wanted to share it with people who are having a older version, what you can do is, while you are publishing it, you can export that as a some version. So as it is shown here, you can export it to the downgraded version. Okay. And then you can publish it. Okay. Export and then publish it. Okay. So likewise, so you can give the project and then you can just give the older version. Okay. So this is another thing that you can look into it. So whatever I have given to you right now is, these are some general instructions about how the publishing in Tableau could happen. So all of you must remember that sharing your work or publishing your work is something which is unavoidable in Tableau. When I have to share my work or publish my work in Tableau, few things that I need to remember. First thing is, I need to have either a Tableau server or a Tableau online if I wanted to perform a publishing of my work. Another thing is, I need to possess the required rights for me to do the publishing. And also I must be aware about the different types of data sources that I am working on it. And also I should be aware of what are the things that I need to make users, I mean, from the user's perspective, what are the things that should be visible to the users? What are the things that shouldn't be visible to the users? All these things should be known to me. With all of these informations and all of the type of authentications, you can actually go ahead and publish your work in Tableau. Okay. So always it is good to share things, and Tableau is also encouraging you to share the things. So that's all for this session. Thank you.